Hello, everybody. It's that time of month again. Um, we'll do my quick little wrap up from the February TBR game, and then we'll roll the dice to see what I get to read for March. In February, I had to roll for 3 books. Um, so far, the game has been nice to me, knock on wood. And both months, January and February, have been 3 books. With my crazy work schedule, it's hard to get much reading time in. But I had to read one called A Murder of Manatees, which it was an interesting story. It was very strange. Um, Kind of sci-fi fantasy, I guess you would say. I don't even know how to describe it. And technically, it was like the second book, which I didn't know, but you can read it without reading the other one. I have managed to track down the other one and download it. It was a freebie on Amazon, or Audible. Anyway, in sometime in the future, I'll get to it. It was narrated by Adam Baldwin, who, if you're familiar with the show Firefly, he was the guy that played Jane Cobb. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's kind of a big, tall guy. Anyway, he was the narrator, and the book was kind of self-aware because it knew it was an audiobook. So it was very kind of meta in that way. Anyway, not great, but not terrible. I think it probably was about a 3 for me. I also read 450 from Paddington by Agatha Christie. It's a Miss Marple mystery. Miss Marple actually features in it somewhat, which is nice. There have been a few that I read recently where she's kind of an afterthought. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be a Miss Marple book, so let's stick her in at the end. And it's like, what was the point? Because she wasn't there for the bulk of the story. But anyway, whatever. It was okay. Not my favorite Agatha Christie, but certainly not the worst. Again, it's somewhere around a 3 for me. I don't know. And then there was Riley Mack and the Other Known Troublemakers, which was another one that I got as a freebie on Audible. And it was fun. A bunch of kids at, like, I don't know, 12 years oldish. The cop in town likes to get after them for every little thing, even though they're not doing anything wrong. They save this kid from a bully who happened to be the cop's son, so therefore the cop gets after him. Well, they found out that dogs in the neighborhood have been stolen, and so they set out to solve the mystery. And they do break a few laws, I will say, but in the long run, things work out in the end, and I'm not going to tell you all the little details because, I don't want to spoil it for you. It was a fun book. I would say middle grade and up would enjoy it. A lot of adventure stuff happening, some mystery stuff happening. They were just fun kids to spend an afternoon with, It's not a long book, but, well, audio-wise, it's not a long book. But it was fun, and I'd say it was probably around a 4 for me. So, who knew? The one I liked the best out of the 3 I was required to read was the middle grade book. Anyway, I guess it's time to get this show on the road and get these dice rolling. Let's see. Can y'all see? About as good as can. Alright, so first we start with the 6-sided die to find out how many we need to roll for. And we got a 2. It's getting better. Less time I have to read, the fewer books it's making me read. Why is that happening? Okay, so the first book with the 20-sided die, I've got book titles listed. First is book number 12, so we are reading Claude and Camille. I have been trying to read this one for quite some time, and things just keep happening, so I don't get to it. It's about Claude Monet and his wife Camille, and it's a fictionalized story of them. So I'm thinking it might be interesting. I'm interested in art. I did read Vincent and Theo this past month, and it was pretty interesting. Okay, second book is number 16. Over here in the corner. Firefly Lane, another one I have been trying to read for quite some time. This one's by Kristen Hanna, and it is set in the summer of 1974. I guess this girl's an 8th grader, and then the coolest girl in the world moves in across the street and wants to be her friend. And I guess it's about their friendship and how it developed over time. And then for 30 years, Tully and Kate buoy each other through life, weathering the storms of friendship, jealousy, anger, hurt, resentment. They think they've survived it all until a single act of betrayal tears them apart and puts their courage and friendship to the ultimate test. I really like Kristen Hanna's writing, so I'm looking forward to that one. And now I have an excuse to force myself to read it. I can't put it off any longer. So that's the 2 books I have to read for March. I think it'll be all right. I will find a way to read them. I also hope to get through Battleground by Jim Butcher, which I believe is the final Harry Dresden. I don't know if there's supposed to be any more after that. I think it's the final Harry Dresden. What else do I have on my shelf here? I've got a whole bunch of things. If the audiobook ever comes through, I've got a James Patterson Coast to Coast Murder to read. I want to read Girl of Nightmares by Kendra Blake, because I really loved Anna Dressed in Blood, and this is the book 2 to that. I have another Kristen Hanna on the shelf. I've got another Proust, part 2 of what the heck is the title of the series? In Search of Lost Time. I think it's also called Remembrance of Things Past. I think it's got 2 different series titles. Anyway, there's that. This one is... How long is this? Let's get to the actual end of the story and not... 730 pages. And then you've got all the notes and junk at the end. I hope it's more exciting than Swan's Way was. It just seemed to go on and on and on, and it didn't go anywhere. Very little plot. So, I don't know how I feel about that one, but I will give it a try. I don't know if I'll make it through all 7 books this year. That's the goal. The ultimate goal is to finish all 7 books of that, which is roughly 3,500 pages, I think. And I've already read 600 and something of it from the first book. And here's another 600 to 700 pages. So, if you average 700 pages a book, or no, average 500 pages a book for 7 books, that's a lot of reading. And so far, the first 2 have been in the 600 to 700 range. So, we'll see. I know there's one that's fairly short compared to all the others. What else is over here? I've got a couple romances because I needed some romance things to fill in for different challenges I have going on. If you're on Goodreads, I'm in a group called A Million More Pages, AMP, and we do challenges. That's what our group is. It's a challenge group. We've got monthly challenges, bi-monthly, year-long challenges. We do readathons. We do. We've got like take a chance on a book where you roll or spin a wheel and come up with a genre, and then they will send you a title to read under that genre. We do. There's a book to movie challenge where each month you read 3 books that have been adapted into movies to earn a badge. Of course, if you don't make it, that's not a big deal. I mean, it's not. It's a your own pace kind of thing. What else do we do? What else? We do a lot of team challenges. but right now we are in a racing theme. Encompasses all kinds of racing. For February, it's February through May, I think. Everything's gone in my head. February we did like a Daytona 500. We've got like a one that where it is different races. Each month is a different race. Um, February, what do we have coming up in March? See, it's March 1st, and I don't even know what day it is. That's pretty sad, isn't it? Um, but yeah, we've just got tons of stuff going on in there. I'm also in a group called For Love of a Book, which is also another challenge group. Um, Again, there's like every month we bring in a new challenge, or they bring in a new challenge. I'm not a mod for that one. I'm a mod for AMP, but not the other one. And a lot of those are pretty much open-ended challenges. So once you start, it's go at your own pace, which is kind of nice. Because sometimes you can't find a book to fit the category or the task at hand. But that's why I have a couple of these on here that are things I wouldn't normally read because I needed them for challenges. One I did read recently, I think this was the last one I read, Apple Cider Slaying by Julianne Lindsay. I enjoyed it quite a bit. This one is set in West Virginia on an orchard, and what's her name? Winnie? Yeah. Winnie and her grandmother own this orchard. Well, the grandmother technically owns it, and Winnie is there to help her out, especially after her grandfather had passed away. And all these weird things keep happening on the orchard. People are breaking in. They set the barn on fire. There's a murder, hence the slaying part. And it's coming up on Christmas time, and Winnie is trying to get a loan so she can open a cider shop on the location of the orchard in an old mail pouch barn, which is on the like historic register or something. Anyway, somebody tries to burn it down. Luckily, they only caused like a little damage to the floor. Blah blah blah. Anyway, I did kind of figure out what was going on a little early, but it was kind of neat to see how it all worked out. How what I thought was happening may or may not have been what was really happening. But this author, she writes under multiple names. I guess she's got several different publishers, but she writes under multiple names so that each publisher has like its own author's name. And of course, this doesn't list any of her other names or books. She's the one that did the Christmas Tree Farm murder books. There's two of them set on a Christmas tree farm. And they're both set at Christmas. It was The Knife Before Christmas. That's the second one. I can't think offhand what the first one's called. But those are really, really good. I enjoyed those quite a bit. The secondary characters in those books were so much fun. And it was really pretty good setup, and the stories were interesting. This, I'm not sure on the secondary characters yet. Obviously, she's going to fall for the sheriff because the sheriffs are always single and they're always handsome and they're always kind of assholes at the beginning until you realize that they're not really being assholes. And then, the main character, it kind of falls for them. That happened in both series. Why can I not think of the title of that one? It's driving me crazy. Anyway, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about right now. And I have to pack so I can leave for my jobs this week. That's the hard thing about the job I've got is I'm never home. If I was home, I'd have time to read. I try to listen to books in the van when we're going to the different locations, but if they turn the radio on, I can't hear. So, audiobooks only work if it's not blasting music at you. So, we'll see. Hopefully I can get at least one book done this week. That'd be nice. Anyway, that's all I have for right now. So I guess I will see you in the next video, whenever that may be. I do have a Mango Spice Cafe coming up. I got a notice today that it has been shipped and should be arriving sometime this week. Fingers crossed. Unless it, gets hung up at a post office somewhere. So that'll be interesting, something new to our channel. And do I have anything else? Not really. When I did my book haul the other day, I did forget a book. It's called The Other Mississippi by, I think it's Bob Carney. I think that's the author. It's about growing up in Mississippi in like the 20s and 30s. Each chapter's like little, it's almost an oral history that somebody wrote down. That's what it feels like. It's like very conversational, not necessarily grammatically structured, the racial stuff would be appropriate to the day. I mean, it's how they spoke, it's, how they acted, but it's so far hasn't had much of that. It mentions it, but usually it's like there were black people in town and we got along with them and it wasn't a problem. The KKK existed, but there were very few in our town, so we didn't really have a problem, that kind of stuff. So it's actually not, I haven't really come across a lot of negative stuff. And I'm about halfway through the book. I'm keeping it in the bathroom because, the chapters are short, and when you're in there doing your business, you can whip through a chapter pretty quickly. Talks about when he was a Boy Scout and going camping. He's talking about, at age 14 was when he first discovered whiskey and the different types of whiskey and how, you could tell if it was good or bad by lighting a capful on fire, and, how he tried smoking and didn't like it, so he doesn't smoke. And I mean, just all these just little things, and it's kind of almost stream of consciousness. It's like, this happened, and then the next paragraph, something else is happening, and then something else is happening. It's all like little, like, say you were talking to your grandfather or somebody or an elder person, and they were telling you stories of their childhood. That's what this is, basically. And so far, it's interesting. I'm not sure it's going to have a whole huge impact on me personally, because it is kind of dated, and it's basically oral history. So it's interesting to read, but it's not going to have a huge impact on me personally. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be a 3. I'm enjoying it. I don't hate it. But yeah, it's like talking to one of your elders and how they talk about, oh, when I was a kid, we did this, and then we did this, and then we did that. So anyway, I think you probably get the idea. I don't need to rattle on about it any longer. Oh, this one. This one was a lot of fun. Peter and Ned's Ultimate Travel Journal, based on the movie Spider-Man Far From Home. I don't know how you really classify whether this is a novel or more of a graphic novel, because there's a lot of stuff like that where you got drawings and things. I mean, it's essentially as if you were looking at somebody's travel journal that they wrote and drew in. But it's a lot of fun. There's conversations going on between Ned and Peter and MJ. And, I mean, Here are things not to do when you're having a conversation with a customs agent in a foreign country, and what Peter said or did that made the customs agent question, whether he was okay or not. Places to go, Italian pizza versus American pizza, things like that. And why does the phone always have to ring? We're ignoring that one. Always has to ring while I'm doing a video. Why? Why? Wait until the end at least. Anyway, that one's a lot of fun. So especially if you have like middle school kids, they'll love it. It's fun. I think MJ would be a whole heck of a lot of fun to hang out with because her tour ideas were in line with things I'd want to do, like, the Plague Museum and the Jack the Ripper tour and stuff like that. Very goth. Where Peter and Ned are like, yeah, let's go to Piccadilly Circus. And MJ is like, you do know that's not really a circus, right? And they're like, oh. And they were doing like no research whatsoever, that they'd pick a name of some place that sounded fun and then find out, oh, it's not what I thought it was. Anyway, yeah, it was a fun book. I giggled all the way through it. Just stupid humor. Um, Boys especially, I think, would enjoy it. Just because Ned and Peter are so goofy. And a lot of boys I know are very much like Ned and Peter. Especially at that age. So anyway, that's about all I've got. I'm not sure how soon I will have another video. If the Mango Spice Cafe comes in this week while I'm out, then maybe next weekend I can do one. But really, that's the only thing I know for sure that's coming up. I don't have any book hauls or anything planned. No, that's the only thing I've got planned at the moment. So we will see what we will see. I will try to come up with something, but at this point, as you well know, it's hit or miss when I upload. So I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to do all the fun YouTubey things. Comment, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell icon if you want to be notified when I do eventually upload another one. And until the next one.